He never responded?
All right, well, let's start the show. I already pressed record.
Oh, you
Oh,
did?
okay.
Welcome to the Malapert Smark Wrestling Podcast, the greatest wrestling podcast in the world with the most smartest experts of pro wrestling there is in the world.
Oh, oh
Let,
God.
let me introduce my friend Vlad, the wrestling expert, the
I
foremost
am, yes,
wrestling expert, not Jim Cornette.
absolutely. Alright.
And then we got Robert,
Wow.
my
Crazy.
my other good friend, and he's slowly marching his way towards that Malapert Smark Hall of Fame week after week with his impressive performances. Last week, featured in our YouTube short segments with his
Uh,
wonderful rap about how Harley Cameron sucked at rapping. But it's good to see you guys. We were supposed to have Brian on, our other friend, but he did get back to me. He couldn't make it tonight, but he said he'll
oh,
try next time. But
All right.
yeah, I was worried for because I was gonna cut a promo on him about how he wasn't responding and all this stuff and like the
oh,
Miz
wow.
Like the
on
Miz.
like the Miz and Champa, but but yeah, it's cool. So we had some topics prepared if we had Brian on because it would have been more fun. But let's save those topics for next time.
Sure.
Let's just run through our weekly reviews that everyone's waiting for, all of our legions of fans that expected the show out today. We're recording this a day later than we usually would. So last thing we haven't talked about was SmackDown from July 14th, which as we speak, we've had another SmackDown today at July 21st. But we're not going to talk about that show today because I haven't seen it. I don't know if Robert saw it. Um,
No.
no, yeah, okay. Vlad said he saw some of it, but we'll save that for next time. For right now, let's just go backwards in our time machine. All right, everybody close your eyes. We're going back to last Friday, to July 14th, and let's go through this episode. You guys remember this, or was this is when we get this far back, it's a little far in our rearview mirrors. It's a little hard to remember some of it.
The
But
only
I'll
thing I remember is the bloodline segment between Jay and Paul Heyman and
Oh,
Solo.
yes.
oh
That's the
yeah,
only thing
good
Yeah.
that really.
good stuff.
That
No
that's the only thing
Roman,
I know.
no
Yeah.
Roman last week, but let's get to some of the highlights. So Charlotte and Bianca that started the show, and Charlotte
Yeah.
went up to Bianca, told her that she wants the next title shot after Bianca supposedly wins it from Asuka at the end of the night. And Charlotte was gonna go home happy with the arrangement, but she saw that Io Sky was hanging around and decided to stay and make sure things played out the way they planned it, so that she doesn't cash in and all that. And in the end, at the match, the Bianca and Asuka match, Io Sky did show up, and Charlotte was ready to thwart her cash in, but she ended up taking out Bianca by mistake. And that set up a potential cash in situation, but Io Sky hesitated a little too long. Asuka arose and she powdered out after she spit in Bailey's face. And the result of that match was Bianca won by disqualification because Charlotte kicked her in the face. So I guess Bianca's still in line for another title shot. So I don't know what's gonna happen there. But all that stuff, the EO Sky cash in, the waiting too long, is that getting too old a little bit? Is that is that starting to run its course with these Money in the Banks, or is it always going to be exciting, do you think? Let's get some comments on the show. How about Vlad? You started out.
Uh, well, I think what they're trying to do with that is to create animosity between Bailey and Io Sky, right? That's like where it seems like it's going. Uh, Maybe break up that group, which I guess they're kind of already they were three women group, now they're just two women because of the injury to the other one. And I say the other one not because I don't know her name. I'm sorry. Somebody could tell me later or whatever what the other member of Damage Control is. I don't remember, but nonetheless, I
Dakota
think that's
Kai. Dakota Kai.
Kodakai. Thank you, thank you.
Mhm.
So yes, that's what that is for. But overall, it wasn't a bad segment to end the show, like the whole thing, or the match itself. Like there's a lot of moving parts, and I like it when things are a little bit chaotic and a little messy, and I think that's as chaotic as WWE can kind of be at this point in time. So it was all right. Overall, it was all right.
All right, Robert, you remember any of this?
I didn't watch that segment, but I think I could still answer your question. I don't think it's gone on too long because didn't Money in the Bank just happen like 2 weeks ago? Um, so yeah, I mean I wouldn't say they've this angle has been gone on too long. I do think EO will eventually actually cash it in, but I do agree with Vlad. They're trying to build up the tension between her and Bailey. I don't know now though, because I did hear that Bailey got legitimately injured in a like a house show. That's what I heard.
Oh.
I'm not sure like how severe that was.
Interesting.
Hmm.
All right.
I did not know, but yeah.
So, all right. So no one's been no one is tired of like fake teases for cash-ins yet. Okay, it's still exciting. Okay. I mean,
I think so.
it was to me it was just
Kinda.
like, okay, so everyone is wiped out, everyone is passed out, and she's just holding it. And it's like, okay, are you gonna cash it in or what? You're just gonna like take too long and ruin it. So, you gotta live life with some conviction sometimes. You're gonna do it or not. Just do it. They're just like sitting there like, should I do it? Should I do it? Everyone is unconscious. Should I do it? Anyways, I thought it was a little.
Well,
The timing
well,
on these is.
when it's the heel that's holding the briefcase, they generally, hesitate, I think.
Yeah, because they don't want to ruin
Um,
it and
so
like
I'm
blow
not
blow their
surprised.
chance.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
mhm.
It's true. All right, well, let's move on. Okay, so let's see what else we had on this SmackDown. It was a week ago, so we're gonna like, kind of do some broad strokes and cover. So there was that segment that Vlad talked about where Jey Uso come out and cut a promo about the situation with the bloodline and everything, and he got interrupted this time just by Heyman and Solo Sikoa. No Roman last week. So they had like a long, deep talk. This was Solo's first words in the whole angle, I think, right? You guys ever heard him talk before that? I thought he did a good job.
Maybe like a little bit, but yeah, like he rarely ever.
Um, and what before he debuted in the main roster, he was in NXT for a short while, and I do remember him saying some stuff. He didn't talk much though, not even in NXT.
Yeah. No, he talked in NXT a bit, but I'm saying since the main roster, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think I've
So
even
yeah,
heard him
since the
talk.
main roster, no. Mm.
Well, all right, and then this ended with like a physical fight, and they ended up getting physical, and Jey Uso got the better of Solo, which made sense. He's the superior guy here. He's the elder. He's the veteran. So they let him go over, and Solo powdered out, as they say in wrestling terms. And then if you got, I mean, that was a good segment. Obviously, it set up
Well,
to tonight's segment, which is going to be more interesting, I think, with Roman and Jay setting up their fight or whatever it's going to be. But if you have any comments about last week, go ahead,
I was
Vlad.
just gonna say we're not gonna mention how Heyman took a bump. I mean, that's how he got
Oh,
super kicked.
A
And
yeah.
he just
terrible
took that.
bump.
It was like it
Yes.
was like a walrus falling to the ground. But, I mean, I'm a big Paul Heyman fan, but yeah, obviously he's a big guy. Bulky in that sense. I'm gonna try to be nice, about it. But it's always fun when I see Paul take a bump. I mean, it's so rare. I think he's like maybe taken 2 or 3 bumps in like this whole time that he's been with Roman. So that was it was kind of interesting that he took one for Jay with a super kick.
I mean, he's taken crazier bumps than that. He took the one at
Right.
when did they fight? Roman against Brock, and he got
Yeah,
F5'd
he went
into the
across the
table.
table, right? Yeah.
Oh,
I think that's the only one
I
I could.
remember that.
That's the only other one I could think of. I couldn't think of any really other ones.
I've seen him go to the ground. I can't put my finger on when, but I've seen him get punched or things like this. But yeah, he never really falls down that good. So what do you expect? He's really big.
Well, I didn't think it was like the worst bump. I just thought it looked kind of funny because he's so. Okay, I'll say he's fat. Okay, not
Yeah,
fat shaming, but he is fat.
he's given up. He's given up on trying to stay in any type of shape. But I
Yeah, I
think it.
mean, if you look at him like even 20 years ago, he was not this big, obviously. So yes, in a sense, he has kind of given up staying in shape.
Well, it works for his character. He's supposed to be this slime bag type of like
Yeah,
penguin character. You know,
sure.
it
Yeah,
just
I agree with that.
it makes him look like a character that I don't
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
it makes it in this case being fat makes him money. So whatever. I
I mean, yeah,
as long
it
as he
works for
doesn't
him. That's
die, it's good for him.
yeah. Yes.
But uh, let's see. If we don't got anything else, we'll move on to LA Knight. He came out, cut a pretty simple promo, you know, staking his claim to the U.S. title because he's going to be in this little tournament, and I think people are expecting him to win it probably, or at least get into a feud with Austin Theory and see what he's got. So, um, not going to say much other than just again, enormous, huge pops. Everyone is trying to really will this guy to get into a good spot on the roster. But moving on, things I'm gonna skip. I guess I'll just roll over these. If anything that you guys think you want to interject, but these are things I wasn't gonna get into from SmackDown. Brawling Brutes versus Pretty Deadly. Uh, Shotzi goes nuts and cuts off the rest of her hair after Bailey and Io cut off only a little piece of it the week before. So, you know, I don't mind this. I actually kind of dig this, but I'm just not going to get into a deep discussion about it here on this show.
Only because you did Crazy Chicks. That's why.
Like AJ Lee.
I like me some Shotzi. You know that. You
I
know that.
Yeah. The
Santos
crazier the better.
Escobar.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, thanks, Vlad. Thank you. Kaon likes crazy chicks.
Yes. Let it be known.
uh, Santos Escobar again, another win. He's gonna be in that. He's in that U.S. title tournament, so he might bump into L.A. Knight later on. And then another interesting segment was Lashley showed up in a limousine very briefly to pick up the Street Profits. So that seems like it's gonna be a new partnership, I guess. So they might do something with that. But anyways, that was SmackDown. You see, a lot of things I listed that I skipped. Some things were good. You know, I guess that's WWE for you. You know, some things are okay, and a lot of skippable things. So fine with me. I just skipped them. But
Exactly.
let's move on to AEW Collision, July 17th, Saturday.
Now we're
FTR versus Juice Robinson and Jay White. 2 out of 3 falls for the AEW Tag Team titles. Um, I'm not going to go through this because it was basically an hour-long match. It almost hit the hour-long time limit. But I'll just say a couple things. Jay and Juice won the first fall. So they went ahead 1-0. Then FTR bombarded Jay White with literally everything imaginable. But they just couldn't score a fall off him. Right? This made Jay White look pretty strong, which as Robert was talking about last week, that
right.
he was kind of disappointed in how they booked Jay White, but they made him look like a machine here. They hit him with everything. The pinfalls didn't come from Jay White; they were from Juice. So
Right.
I think they made him look a little almost unrealistically strong, personally. Um, but anyways, right at the point where this match was gonna hit the hour time limit mark, um, FTR ended up scoring the pinfalls. I thought it might be a tie because they once they say 5 minutes left, it's hard to finish the match within 5 minutes. But I found myself a little sad at the booking at who won just because I kind of got invested in it, you know, after watching 2 hours of these guys fighting. But stellar match. Um, let's hear some thoughts. I'll start with Robert this time. How about you? Juice
I
and Jay White versus FTR.
I loved it. I would say for now it's one of my favorite matches of the year. Absolutely for tag team matches, absolutely it's got to be like top five, probably top three. It was amazing.
Do you think the
Um,
right people went over?
man, because the FTR has been on a roll for a long time. They've been like the best tag team for I don't know how many years now. So it's hard to say that the right team, didn't go over, but I don't know. I wasn't upset with the booking. I will say the finish I would say was probably not as exciting as last week's, but given like where the match was taking place, it was in in Canada. It made sense that to end the match with a sharpshooter. So I was cool with it, even though I didn't feel like the finish was as exciting as last week's. Um, some things to note. I really liked how at one point Jay White teased the audience as if like he was about to do the sweet chin music on, I forgot which one of the FTR members. It looked like he was about to do Shawn Michaels move on him, but then ended up doing the sharpshooter instead. I thought that was a cool
I
cool
didn't even realize
segment.
that.
I don't
You
even
didn't?
know that part.
Oh, I thought that was cool. But yeah, I mean, I really love the match. Like I hope this isn't the last time they fight each other. I definitely wouldn't mind them going at it again. I mean, why
Ah,
not? I mean,
I'm
they
not. I don't know about that. I mean, I would want them
okay.
to, but I think after 2 matches, what more can you get out of this? I mean, Vlad,
I
what are
mean,
you
okay,
thinking?
not necessarily next week, but I'm
Yeah,
saying like
yeah,
later
okay.
on
Yeah, it
down the
could come
line.
around again someday. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it came around someday again, I think that would be good. Maybe if Jay and Juice won some kind of tournament to get another title shot. But Robert, if you're done, we'll go to Vlad.
Yeah, if Robert's done. Well, it was a great match. There's there. I mean, both matches. The last 2 weeks have been stellar. I'll have a slight criticism, and I don't know, but being like my match of the year, it was a great match. I don't even know what my match of the year is, to be honest with you. I'd have to really do some thinking about that. But the only problem with these almost hour-long matches is the way they have to kind of have a slow pace to start, which I understand. You have to pace yourself when you're going to about to basically go Broadway, right? So I understand that, but I kind of like the flow of their match 2 weeks ago better. It just was better pacing, better flow, and you didn't, because they knew they were going to go for a while, but they knew that they didn't have to go an hour, basically. But overall, it was a great match. I think the right team did win because FTR is finally in a good feud with a tag team. Yes, they've been the tag team champions, but they haven't really been doing much of anything or anything of relevance or anything exciting or anything interesting. They were just prior to this, they were with Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal and that Goober troupe that he's with, that those guys are with. So now they're in a real feud with really two good wrestlers on Collision. Way too early to take the titles away from them. So I'm fine with the booking. Amazing match, great work across the board. Tremendous job by everybody. I'm trying to think if there had any other criticisms. I think maybe just winning on the sharpshooter, I think it kind of fell flat to me a little bit after everything those guys had been through. Kind of losing on a sharpshooter, you know. And also agree with Kahan's main point that yes, I mean Jay White they made look like he was like the second coming of Jesus in this match. He kicked
Yeah.
out of everything. He was
Yes.
just getting. I mean, they put him every finisher on this guy, and he was kicking out.
Yes.
It was like almost Orange Cassidy style. It was
Yes.
ridiculous. But I understand that they're trying to make maybe make up for like really terrible booking that they had him with in the beginning, and actually he is a capable wrestler, which I wasn't sure when he first. I thought he was going to be part of that, Dynamite crew over there in the league, but no, he's actually a very capable wrestler, which those guys are not. So that's good to see. He's very good. So other than that, I might have some other minor criticisms, but what's the point of even saying it was a great match? And this was definitely the highlight of the show. Again, they stole the show, back to back weeks. I'll leave it at that.
So no 5 stars then, I guess. All right.
I would probably say 4.5. Four and a
Okay.
half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right then. Let's move it along. Let's move it along. We got a little bit more to go.
Yeah.
After this, we had Soho versus Willow Nightingale for the final of the Owen Hart Cup. The ending I thought was a little sloppy. Willow ended up winning after Ruby tried to get the spray paint, and then she tried to spray her in the face with it, but it looked like she obviously wasn't close to trying to spray her in the face, and then ended up getting pounced, I think was the final move that ended the match. I don't know. I'm not gonna give too much thoughts on this. I didn't think it was perfect, so I'm not gonna give it uh, really much comment other than to ask you guys if you want to comment anything. But if not, I'm gonna move on to QT
I would say we could go
Marshall.
on.
All right, then. QT Marshall went into Powerhouse Hobbs' locker room looking to apologize for costing him his match last week, which some people thought hopefully would be the end of that whole thing, but they didn't really tell us yes or no whether it's gonna end. It was weird. Yeah, I don't know if you remember, Vlad. Hobbs said to
Yeah.
QT, "Remember, your word is your bond," and then he kind of slapped him on the chest and left. But like, okay, what the fuck does that mean? Okay, whatever. I really don't want any cryptic things from this angle on. I just want it to end. But
Uh, exactly. You got the second part right. Like I was about to say, like, are we even talking? Why are we talking about this?
I
But
don't know.
okay, yeah,
I'm going through everything in wrestling from the last week. Okay, fine. I'll move
I get.
on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mal Malachi Black and Brody King against some jobbers, which was just a vehicle to get Andrade out in the middle of the match, and he's trying to get his mask back, but referees stop him at the entrance ramp. These like unstoppable referees that he couldn't get through, right?
Yeah, I was
He
gonna mention that.
Yeah, he didn't even try to like power over them or anything. They just kind of they were like, "No, Andrade, no, please stay right here." Okay, and then that's what he did. So I guess he really doesn't need that mask that badly.
It's not
So
that important.
yeah, exactly. Let me move on. Other than that, we had the main event. What was it? It was Ricky Starks against CM Punk for the
CM
final of
Punk.
the men's Owen Hart Cup. And in the end, Starks ended up using the ropes as leverage to get the pinfall, leaving Punk stunned. And seemingly, Ricky Starks turns heel in the process here as he goes up the entrance ramp to accept his Owen Hart Cup from Jushin Thunder Liger, who came out to present it to him as the guest celebrity, and he just kind of grabbed it hastily and ran away with the cup. So, hard fought match. More interestingly, though, is the booking here. Robert, what do you think of Ricky Starks winning over CM Punk?
I would have preferred CM Punk winning. Um, that would have been my personal choice, but I don't know. Um he didn't win cleanly, so I guess they still protected Punk, kinda.
Yeah, that's
But I
true.
still would have I still would have preferred Punk winning it. I I just uh thought it was awkward. Like the fans were still cheering him even though he did a heel turn. That's how much the fans didn't like Punk. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it depends
But
on the
yeah,
town, I
I
guess.
yeah, he's not Punk's not gonna get any love in Canada.
All right, we'll move on. What about Vlad? Let's hear your thoughts
Oh,
about Ricky Starks winning the
yeah,
Owen
yeah.
Hart Cup. Maybe it's more useful to him than CM Punk. I don't know. I'm trying to see the reasoning here.
I think that's right. Well, it depends, right? Because I don't think Punk needs it, but what are they going to do with Ricky Starks? Like, are they going to elevate him now because of this? Are they going to do something with him? Is he going to be like a top heel? I mean, if that's or whatever, if he's going to be elevated from this, yes, it might be good booking. If nothing comes from it, which sometimes happens in AW, then yeah, it was kind of dumb. Why not just have Punk win? Because he's obviously the
A good
more
point.
established and more popular, more known wrestler, and whatever the case may be. But it just depends what they do with it. So I guess that will
How
will
about
play it.
Punk versus Starks?
Um, I mean, possibly that could be some direction that they go. I don't know.
I
It
think that would be
depends.
good. I would like that
Well,
idea.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I think Starks is a better heel from what I've seen of him than he is a face. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, he's okay either way, but he's definitely a better heel. As far as Punk, I thought he got like a mixed reaction again in Canada. He's not well liked, but I think there were some
Hmm.
fans that were cheering for him. He did it. It was a good match. They did some good work, but I have to be honest. By this point, I was kind of wiped because of watching an hour match, and I was really invested into that match. I have to say
Yeah,
that's like
same here.
It's not one of those where I was kind of casually doing something and watching it. No, I was watching it like really thoroughly. You know, so I was pretty wiped by then because that match took a lot out of you. That opening match took a lot out of you. So it was a good match. I think the booking is to be determined, and we'll see what happens. But I don't think it doesn't do anything for Punk to like that he lost or if he did win. So I don't think it hurts him one way or the other.
All right, cool. So let's move on to one thing I'm gonna mention real quick is this show that they put on sometimes. It's called Battle of the Belts. It was right after Collision. I know we don't really gotta get into it too in detail, but I guess we could just ask your uh, general thoughts about how it's been since it happened, since they've been having it. I mean, basically there hasn't been one title change on this show in seven iterations of the AEW Battle of the Belts. That's what I was talking to with Vlad on the other day on the phone, and it's very predictable. They're matches that they're almost kind of not squash matches, but matches where you kind of can tell that the champion's gonna keep the belt. Um, Robert, what is with this? Did you watch this? A
I,
waste of time to you or what?
okay, a few things. So this is probably only the second Battle of the Belts that I've seen. I can't remember what the other one was, so I'm not too familiar with like the pattern of how these programs play out. And number two, this is going on like the third hour of wrestling, like, following 2 hours of Collision. I was kind of bored at this point, so I didn't really care much about what was going on. I still watched it, but it was just like, whatever, just to see what happens, and I wasn't
Vlad,
really too impressed by anything
Vlad,
that
listen.
happened.
We need you to cut a promo here to give us a highlight for the
Oh,
week to put
oh shoot.
on
Oh
Instagram.
no, the pressure, the
Oh shoot.
Come
pressure.
on,
I,
Vlad.
well, Battle of the Belts is pretty worthless. Let's start with that. It
Okay.
is worthless. But and the funny thing is the premise of it, as I mentioned to Kahan in our chat, and like maybe a text message or whatever, that it's supposed to be like Clash of the Champions. That's where it's kind of based off in WCW, the old NWA WCW thing, Clash of the Champions. Clash of the Champions was were always great shows. They were always like pay-per-view quality shows that were given to fans on local TV or whatever, like cable TV.
Yeah,
Uh,
pay-per-view quality matches, type of thing.
Pay-per-view quality matches like Ric Flair versus Sting or whatever, right? Something like that. Let's say for the
Yeah.
world title as the
This
main
is
event
an
of the world.
insult to that.
Hmm.
Yeah, this something like that. Whoever, like Dusty Rhodes versus uh, Tully Blanchard for the TV type. I don't know whatever you want to say. Like whoever, right? All those guys in the NWA, WCW guys that wrestled on Clash of the Champions, they know those guys. Those were pay-per-view quality matches. And what is this? I don't know what this is. This is just like uh, kind of like Rampage, but like, but the funny thing is they have so many belts that they could just say like Battle of the Belts and for all these worthless titles, right? So I don't know, dude. I mean, I can't really cut a great promo on this because it's so worthless that like it doesn't even deserve like a Jim
I
Cornette like
mean, you're
promo.
not mad at them for
No,
wasting your time.
Damn.
I mean yes, but I'm saying these things are worthless, and I forward, but I forwarded through it, but to get through it. But what else can you do? I mean, this is the shows that they want to present for some reason. I have no
All
idea
right,
why. Why not
let me
make this a
just
quality show?
let me just go through the results. Orange Cassidy defeated Lance Archer for the international title by countout. Tony Storm defeated Taya Valkyrie, defending her women's title. And then Martha Hart, they did the presentation of the Owen Hart Cup trophies to the men and the women, and a belt. Why did they give out a belt? You guys,
I don't know.
does
It's
that
not
bother
No, it
like
makes
anyone?
no
it's not
sense.
like they're gonna. It's not like they're gonna defend it.
No, I agree. It makes no sense. It makes no
Exactly. So it's
Yeah.
it's just like something to put on the mantle, but a trophy is
What's
enough, I
one
think.
more belt? Tony Khan loves belts. We just talked about this battle of the belts. Put another belt on somebody. Robert,
Yeah,
where's your belt? Why hasn't Tony Khan sent you a personal belt?
I'm gonna make belts for
I'm
you
still
guys.
waiting for it.
Shit.
Yeah, I mean,
All
we
right.
deserve belts too for watching these shows. We deserve belts, but nonetheless.
There's
All right, the
there's
last
the bar
match
right
on
there.
this was Luchasaurus defending Christian's TNT title against Shawn Spears. Uh,
Christians.
a little bit of Christian interference gave Luchasaurus the opening he needed for a clothesline to the back of the head, and Shawn Spears fought valiantly. They didn't make him look like a jobber or anything. He looked like he was competing. So I guess he's back. They're trying to give him another run. But anyways, all right, that's that. That was Battle of the Belts from July 17th. That was right after Collision. Back to back it aired. Let's go on to Raw from July 19th, Monday, which Robert says he watched.
I
Woo!
actually watched a Raw episode.
Yeah.
This is
Oh
the
my
first.
gosh, how did you do
This is
it?
the
How did you
first
get through it?
episode. I don't know. This was the first episode of Raw that I've watched in full since the Raw right before WrestleMania.
Yeah,
It's been that long.
yeah, I
Damn.
understand. Trust me, I understand.
All right. Well, listen, the first segment wasn't that bad. It started out with Cody coming out to
That's right.
challenge Brock Lesnar for a third match, a rubber match, I guess, at SummerSlam. And he says he's not going to leave till he gets an answer. Lesnar initially doesn't come out, but right when Cody's about to leave out the back, that's when Lesnar, I guess, appears in the back. They fight off camera. Brock then beats up Cody in front of his mother at ringside before he accepts the challenge for the match at SummerSlam. So, thumbs up for me on this one. Vlad?
Oh, definite thumbs up on this. This was
Okay,
a really
all
good
right. So
segment.
Raw doesn't suck so bad then, does it, huh?
Okay, but how long was this segment, and how long was the show, and how long is the show? You know. So yes, this was a good segment. I'll be really quick. Good segment. Got the point across. Everything was really well done. Cody was cutting an emotional promo to start because he was, I think, at home, right in Georgia. So he was, I think, emotional that his mom was right there, and I think that added to the heel and the heat that they wanted to get Brock Lesnar to get when he attacked them. So well done across the board. They did everything they needed to do to get the program over. So good job.
All right, Robert, how about you? Give us an assessment of
It's
this
cool.
opening segment.
Great segment. But just personally, like after their SummerSlam match, whenever that is, I kind of want the feud to just end. I
Yeah,
want Cody to move on to like a different feud, different angle, because I think it's gone on for quite a while already. So,
yeah,
but
yeah.
but
I
uh
think
but just but this segment on its own was pretty cool. I liked it.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll probably have more chances to talk about where they can go with Cody from here, or, I'm sure he'll get distracted by something else, but, it's just a matter of what it's going to be. Moving along, Rhea Ripley had an altercation with Raquel and Liv Morgan in the back, and this injured Raquel Rodriguez ahead of their tag team title defense, and Rhea just kind of butted in on their interview just to mess with them. She's been kind of at odds with everybody, and she's kind of trying to run roughshod and show she's, the boss of all the women and all the men, basically. But so this comes back later. I'll put it on hold, but I'll jump to the Judgment Day promo next because Rhea joined her other Judgment Day members and marched to the ring to cut promos. And as the crowd was booing Dominic Mysterio,
Dirty
mercilessly,
Dom.
yes, Dirty Dom, excuse me, Sami and KO, music hits, and they get on the Judgment Day's case just to be baby faces. And this leads to them making a match for the tag team titles on this very night against Damian and Dominic later on. So, um, moving along though. So the tag title match that we mentioned earlier, Raquel and Liv Morgan. They're going to defend against Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green. The doctors had to check on Raquel. They cleared her to wrestle, even though she was visibly hobbled. So I was kind of surprised at this booking, but Chelsea and Sonya did win, and they are the new tag team champions. I thought they were just gonna like use the injury angle to make Raquel look good, and that she defended even though she was injured against the likes of Sonya and Chelsea. But I guess they've actually liked Chelsea Green since she's come back. I thought she's been really good. I was talking to Vlad about how I've been impressed with her. She actually, amuses me, and she looks great. So I like this booking, and I guess it's gonna set up Rhea versus Raquel, which is also kind of good. So any thoughts on overall, Vlad? I guess if you want to say anything about Sonya and Chelsea, or Rhea and Raquel coming up possibly.
I mean, I think two things. The Raquel Rhea, I'll start there. I think that's why they took the titles up, tag team titles off them. They want to build that feud. I think that might be, I'm assuming, the SummerSlam match. Since I don't think Rhea has an opponent now, right? No, so I think that probably will be it, and it's gonna be a good one. Those are, I think both are pretty good, good workers, and Rhea's one of the best in the world. But so it's only going to benefit Raquel to be in the ring with her in this type of feud, in a pretty big. SummerSlam is one of the big premium live events, historically. So we'll see. As far as the tag titles, I mean, I did like that. That it went. I think both Sonya and what's God? What is her first name?
Chelsea Green, or
Chelsea.
as the ring announcer says it. I'm not gonna do it. Do you guys notice that every time they announce her name, how they say her name?
No,
No,
They don't
I don't
say
have no
it. You
idea.
don't. You guys. I'm the only one who recognize. Like the ring announcer always says it the same way every time. She goes Chelsea Green. You guys don't
Oh,
notice
No, I
that?
didn't notice that at all.
I did not. I probably forward through the announcing when they come out, so I never really hear that. But I like them both. And I think that, it's good to have like heels sometimes as a champion. Plus, like really, what were Raquel and Liv doing with the belts? Not much. So this is all fine for me.
All right, Robert. You got any comments about this?
Yeah. So that kick to the leg that Rhea did on Raquel, that's one very overpowered leg kick. She should establish that as a part of her moveset in her matches if it's that strong to injure her opponent's leg.
Yeah, especially
But yeah,
considering it didn't even look like it was close to have landed. Like I guess the
you're
wind from
right.
like she blew the air like of the wind and it
I'm,
kind of just
I'm,
hit her
I'm
knee.
saying, man, it's a overpowered technique. She got to utilize that in matches from now on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do remember that Rhea Ripley and Raquel had a feud when they were both still in NXT. So I guess they're yeah. Oh,
Robert, you would
do
know
you?
that.
Oh, okay. I guess
No,
I don't
I
know.
don't know
Okay.
that. I was not
Yeah.
watching that closely at that point. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's an interesting fact though.
Yeah. So
I
they
would
did
like to
have a
go back and
rivalry
watch that.
yeah. Yeah, they did have a rivalry in NXT. I don't know if it's gonna be brought up during their feud on Raw, but we'll see. But there is history there, but I am looking forward to see how that progresses. But in NXT, like Raquel was, they they made her appear like as like one of the very few women that look like as far as like physical attributes that can actually match Rhea Ripley.
Right.
Um,
That makes
in
sense.
NXT, they made her appear that way. I don't know if they're gonna do the same here on the main roster. We'll see.
All right, cool. All right, so let's move on to what was a interview that Seth Rollins was doing with somebody, like a sit down interview.
What was
And
he wearing?
well, yeah, every time with that. But okay. So Finn Balor interrupts the interview, gets in Seth's face, all serious, and he says it's not over between them, and he wants another match, and that he wants to do what Seth Rollins did to him, which is basically hurt him, take his title, laugh at him, and alter the course of his career. I'm like, okay, that's some serious goals right there. I thought it was a nice serious moment actually, to be honest.
Yeah.
And this ended up with Finn Balor attacking Rollins and leaving him laying there. So I can't. I'm not gonna say anything bad about this segment. I thought it was the best thing that they've done in their whole feud. Anybody have a
Okay.
comment about this?
Yeah. Real quick.
That's cool.
I'm not gonna say a lot about it either. But yeah, it was serious. It was not any of that Seth Rollins nonsense that usually goes into his segments, where they're singing and humming the theme and whatever have
Yeah,
you. And
yeah,
this was a
exactly.
serious moment,
Yes.
and I liked it. It was good. It's supposed to be they're fighting for the title, and they have a supposedly personal history and some hatred. It's not supposed to be fun and games. It's supposed to be serious if that's the case. So I liked it.
Robert?
I thought it was really cool. Well shot too. They chose some really good camera angles. They made it look pretty intense, so I loved it.
All right, we're getting some good,
Loved it. Wow.
seemingly good reviews for Raw here today. Let's but let's move along. Uh,
See, I told you I enjoyed it more than I expected it to.
yeah, it's usually got at least something. Like, yeah, I mean, it's not gonna be
Yeah.
amazing all the way through, but it's usually got something that was like, all right, it was worth seeing at least. So the main event was the tag title match that they set up earlier with Sami and KO against Damian and Dominic Mysterio. Finn Balor from the Judgment Day got taken out by Rollins as a continuation of this little angle that they've been doing. So he's gone. And then Rhea, in the middle of the match, gets taken out by Liv Morgan, who comes back. She's pissed off at the whole Raquel getting injured thing. And them losing their titles. So she's gone too. Damian and Dominic are left alone to their own devices, so that's not enough. And Sami and KO retain. Vlad was messaging me, Robert, during this match, saying that he was hoping Sami and KO's reign would end here because he just hasn't been feeling it.
Hmm. Okay.
Vlad?
Oh, well, this is my turn.
Yeah,
No,
well,
yeah, I haven't really been feeling their title. Since they won the titles at WrestleMania,
well,
I
what do
think
you
they.
want them to do? What exactly would they be doing? They're
Well,
just defending
the
it.
thing is,
They're champions.
everything was going well for them when they were feuding with the Bloodline and the Usos and
Hmm.
the Roman and so I mean, the whole Bloodline stuff. When they were involved in that, that was great. Since then, they've been in like these weird angles with Kevin Owens kind of acting like kind of like he's insane or something. Like he just like has
He's got
anger
a short
issues or
fuse,
something.
yeah,
Short
short
fuse.
fuse.
All of a sudden, this guy has a short
Maybe he
fuse.
started
Just like
smoking cigarettes. He needs a
he
cigarette
just
real bad or something.
yeah, like he has looking like he has really high blood pressure. He needs to take it. He needs to take it easy, you know. But anyways, I don't know. They haven't really done anything of interest to me as the champions. They're just kind of like boring baby faces, to be
Well,
honest. And
let's hear Robert's opinion about that.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I don't think I wanted to see them lose, but I do think they've lost a lot of momentum that they had when they were still feuding with the Bloodline. Um, and I think the right team won, I guess.
Yes, because in the
It
sense.
wasn't
Sorry,
the
I'll let Robert finish. Sorry, Robert. Go
yeah,
ahead.
it wasn't time for Damien and Dirty Dom to get the
Yeah.
tag team championships just yet. Um, Plus, like I think the focus for Damien especially is to at some point cash in that briefcase, and then well, spoiler alert, something happens for Dirty Dom the next day. But we can get to that later.
Yeah, I'll get to that actually coming up next. But before we get to that, I will just mention that I think unfortunately in wrestling sometimes you have to just do the right thing even if it's boring. And uh, Sammy and KO they took a long time to fight for those undisputed tag team titles. So
Sure.
they just shouldn't. It's just for that mere fact they should just get a run with it and just let them defend it for a while. Just give them like a number of months. I don't know. Name a number of months. 9 months, 12 months,
Like,
whatever it is. Sorry. Just because when they lose, it has to be a big deal. It has to be a bigger deal than losing to on Raw in a match that just got made at the beginning of the show. So,
I agree.
I mean, I
That's
will
fair.
agree with you that yeah, babyface runs sometimes fall flat, but it's just something that needs to happen, in my opinion. As a Malapert Smark and somebody who judges these wrestling shows as a fictitious written
But
storyline, I
But there's
think
nothing they could do for them. There's no angle they could put them in that could make it kind of interesting. They could feud with somebody. They're just coming out and acting kind of goofy, and that's pretty much them. I mean, they're quality workers, so it's not
well they
about the
beat the
work.
Judgment Day. Didn't they beat
Oh,
the what Imperium
yes,
too the other day? They've been having matches. I mean, you don't want
yeah,
to put
but
them up
it's
against somebody that's like too good to make them lose. They got to get a little run here. So, I don't know.
all right.
I mean,
I
yeah,
guess we'll
you're
see.
right. They could maybe come up with some tag teams, but what tag teams are really out there in WWE? That's kind of another issue. But okay.
Mm, fair
Uh,
point.
well, look, before we move on to NXT, since you guys actually watched Raw, I know even with the 3 hours and oh, here's some stuff I didn't mention, the non-mentionables. Um, Gunther beat Riddle for the Intercontinental title. Viking Raiders against Alpha Academy in a Viking rules match.
God,
Shayna and Ronda had a promo battle, and Champa and Shinsuke Nakamura got involved with something I don't really want to get into. And Becky Lynch and Trish and Zoe were also on Miz TV, and
right.
Becky Lynch wants another match with Trish, and I guess she'll get it, but she has to tattoo "Thank you, Trish" on her chest if she loses, right? Or she has to beat Zoe, and then if she beats Trish, she has to get a tattoo. So
or she has to get down on her knees and say thank you, Trish, or
yeah,
something
well
like
that
that.
too, but that's not as bad as getting a tattoo. But
Oh,
okay.
I don't remember hearing the tattoo part.
Yeah,
Okay.
she agreed to that too. She's
Yeah,
like, okay,
yeah, it
done
happened.
deal. All right, whatever. Okay, so I think that kind of gives away the ending there, but whatever. All right, so with all
Hmm.
that stuff, Robert, that we mentioned that were like kind of, stuff we don't even need to really get into that much, we saw some good segments too. How about a grade for WWE Raw, the way we do for Dynamite?
Yeah. Well, before I give the letter grade, because you did mention the Gunther versus Matt Riddle match, I
Uh-huh.
do want to say that I actually enjoyed that match more than
Mm-hmm.
the previous match that they had in what was it, Money in the Bank, or I forgot when, or Night of Champions, I forgot. They had a match
Right.
just
They
recently.
did. Yeah, I can't remember.
But I think the match they just had on this the match that they had on this past Raw, I thought was actually better. Um,
Yeah,
I'll give
it
it a
was a good
B.
match, just predictable to me. I didn't, expect Riddle to win. But anyways,
Say I say I don't know, B minus. I'll give B minus.
B minus, huh? Not a bad grade.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, not a
Surprising.
bad grade.
How about Vlad? I think you're gonna give it somewhere in the C's.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, yes, the stuff that we talked about specifically were good, right? It was pretty good stuff for the most part. Like we don't have too many complaints about them, but the stuff that's bad is just bad. Like that Vikings match, whatever that was. I mean, there was like it's a
What
3 hour show, so like maybe an hour.
what exactly were the rules to that match? I had no
But
idea.
I guess it's
God, I didn't watch it.
basically yeah, I don't really know, but I guess it's like a no DQ match. I don't know,
Okay.
but I don't know. There's so much bad too. So maybe like an hour was good, but or maybe an hour and I don't know. Could an hour and a half be good? Could half of it be good? I don't know. It's hard to say. But
All right, Vlad, come on, just give it a gut feeling grade, you know?
gut
For
feeling grade to not prolong the process, I'll give it like a C.
okay, I'll give it a C plus. How about that? C,
Oh wow.
C plus, and B minus. I didn't think it was that groundbreaking to give it a B minus, but it wasn't bad. All right,
Right.
let's move along. We got NXT, which we usually I wouldn't talk about Vlad, to be honest. I really wouldn't put you through it because I know you don't watch it. But I don't know if you did see the one significant thing that happened on this show. If you didn't, I got a video clip of it on our
Right.
old TV. We don't watch much
I do know
TV.
that Dominic Witt won that is titled in North
Exactly.
America.
Yeah, poor Wesley. He fought very valiantly against all the members of Judgment. They look at all four of them in here. They had to get literally all four of them come to this little small stadium in NXT, and he took out Damian, but Rhea was there with the title belt, and Dominic Mysterio is going to be the North American champion. So he's got a belt. And I think to me, the moment of the week in wrestling was this one with these fan reactions coming up right here,
Oh
especially the one
yeah.
guy. Well, there's these two. The one poor guy is this one right here with his
Oh my gosh. Uh,
so
This guy really must take his NXT serious. Jesus.
God. Well, yeah, that too. I mean,
um,
plus it's Dominic, man.
oh my gosh. I
But
know
anyways,
that's what. Yeah.
That's
so
pretty great reaction that I did
so
not see.
Oh man.
NXT has got a bit of a ratings boost since the Judgment Day's been involved last
The
few
last 2 weeks,
weeks.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I went through it and I started looking at what it used to be like before Judgment Day came up was around 500,000, and then
Mhm.
with the Judgment Day recently they're getting closer to about 700,000. So like
No,
high
that's a big,
600,000s.
Okay. Well, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
that's a pretty good jump. I remember when AEW got CM Punk and they jumped from about 800,000 to a million,
Yeah.
for a good while. So that people were
For good.
saying, okay, so CM Punk is literally good for 200,000 viewers by himself. So
Right.
that being said, I guess you could say in that way the Judgment Day is all good for almost about 150,000 viewers by themselves. I think that's a decent ratings move this day and age, At least it's
Yeah.
something. It's not like they sent someone down
Yeah.
there and nothing happened. So
Right.
got a few more viewers. People really like Rhea and Dominic too, whether they want to admit it or not. But this whole thing with Dominic is working out.
Not that one guy. Not that one guy.
Yeah, but that's so phenomenal. Like Dom is doing such a great job as like the slimy, coward, chicken shit heel type. He's doing such a great job at it. So give him full credit.
Yeah, and I give Judgment Day credit if they want to go up there, if they want to go down to NXT and put in more work, an extra day, a week of work. Good for them. At least they're not lazy. I mean, shit. I like seeing it. I watch NXT actually. Most of the time, I just leave it on, kind of, not really watching that closely. But it's been nice recently. I think it's given it a little nice kick. So we'll see what happens with that. Wesley kind of should get a title shot back, but we'll see what happens. I have no idea. Anyways, moving along. Let's get to the main event of the evening. The AEW Dynamite review with the highlight of the Malapert Smark Wrestling podcast, our staple. We love Dynamite.
I got my notes now.
Dynamite is the most reviewable show in wrestling just because they really put themselves out there. Whether it's going to be good or bad, they try to be creative. They try to throw a lot of things at the wall. And there's starting to be a major difference between Dynamite and Collision, which I think we're going to try to talk about hopefully next week if we can get our friend Brian on the air and have a bigger discussion about the split in AEW and, people taking sides, people taking Punk sides, people taking the Elite side, just the difference and just the general feel of how it's kind of more chaotic and goofy on Wednesdays and more serious a little bit. Different commentary crew on Saturdays. So we're going to have more of a deeper discussion about this and see if this is good for AEW in general or if it's bad for them to be having this kind of like inner feud or inner squabble in a way. But we're going to hold that discussion. We're just going to talk about Dynamite today. So let's start our review. Interesting start to the show today. Jungle Boy versus Hook. So it started with Jungle Boy coming out, and they showed a video package of him, I guess, in some desert, burying his old persona, I guess, burying something.
Yeah,
He's burying Jungle Boy.
The old Jungle
He's no
Boy.
longer
Yeah.
Jungle Boy.
Okay, all right. So and then his new theme music hits. It's Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, which I gotta say, I like the selection. The Ninth Symphony is my favorite one, followed by the Fifth, and then the Third. Those are the only three that I listen to. But I mean, he came out with a new look. He's like shaggier, a little scruffier, didn't shave, didn't really get a haircut, and new tights, long tights. He doesn't have those tighty whitey underwear type of tights. Like when Hogan turned heel, he also got the long pants look. You can't be a heel and wear those little tighty whitey underwear type of things. So so he looks cool. I think he's got a good look. So hard fought match, okay. The work, I don't know. I'm not gonna say it was perfect. But Jungle Boy wins after the ref bump. He hits him with the FTW title belt. Hook had scored a pinfall while the referee was down, but Jungle Boy is the new champion. Sorry, Jack Perry, I guess. The announcers just called him Jack Perry. Doesn't seem like he's Jungle Boy anymore. But anyways, he won the Fuck the World title, and he could tell the whole world to fuck off now, I guess. But all right, I want to start with Robert this time. Any thoughts on the new Jungle Boy?
Jack Perry.
Oh yeah, excuse me. It's gonna take me a while to get used to that.
So first off, I want to disagree with the music selection. I wasn't a fan of it, not at all. The new look is cool. The new attitude is fine, but I just didn't like the music choice.
They don't have to pay for that.
Well, yeah, true that. The match was okay. I feel like Jack Perry. I'm not gonna call him Jungle Boy. Perry is carrying the match for the most part. And I actually don't mind the title change. I think it's good that they put it on. I was about to say Jungle Boy. I think it was actually good that they put it on Jack Perry, and I loved how pissed off Taz was about it on commentary.
Yeah, that was kind of a nice touch that he was there.
Yeah.
How about Vlad? Give us some thoughts about Jack Perry's new dark persona.
All right, I want you guys to write this down. I'm gonna say something because this is a moment in history. I'm saying something positive about Jack Perry. I thought this was great. I thought this was very good.
Yeah, all right.
I thought he came out. He looked great. He looked very heelish. He worked heelish. thought he had a good look. The match was pretty solid, and my favorite part, well, the theme, I'm not sure. That one could go either way. I'm not sure about the theme. I'm not. I could see pluses about it. Like, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like a classical music type theme. I don't know. That one could go either way. But the best part is when they were counting the three, and Paul Turner was counting the three. The smile on his face, I have engraved in my memory. It was classic heel. I loved it. I actually liked this segment a lot. They did a great job of, I thought he just did a great job of being a heel. So I was stunned because I was prepared to crap on it because I always crap on Jungle Boy Jack Perry. But now that he's just Jack Perry, I kind of like this. I like this. So we'll see. 1 week, and I'm praising the guy as his heel. Now that he's out of his car, he's doing some good work.
Yeah. All right. Well, right when he was coming down the entrance ramp on his ring walk entrance, telling the crowd to fuck off and everything.
Yeah, he cussed right in that guy's face. I saw it. Yeah, he's like F off.
All right.
He was yelling at
that was
kids
fantastic.
All right. Well, okay. I'm also gonna give it a plus. I mean, I think it's pretty good. Yeah, not bad. Let's see what else they do with him. Exactly. This is AEW's. Also, their problem is following up on things. So let's see what they do with him. But it looks like they're probably gonna continue on with this FTW title feud with them too. I guess because Taz is part of it, and Taz. I honestly thought Taz could have been a little more seriously angry, personally. And Shivani, God, just I like him.
One thing about Shivani, real quick, that I did write down. This guy is talking through somebody's theme music the whole time. He's for sentences, and he's going off and on. Like, dude, nobody hears what you're saying, right? Like, you're talking through the theme. The sound quality isn't that great for AEW as it is. This is not the production of WWE, right? So stop talking while somebody's theme is playing. Nobody hears what you're saying, bro. Anyways, that's it. That was a little Shivani rant.
I just don't care what he says anymore. Like he sounds so fake and hokey, and all he says is, "This is so great. I'm so happy I'm here." Like I'm so tired of Shivani. Like I love him. Just the voice of him is nostalgic, and it takes us back to our childhood. But he's so bad. He doesn't have.
Yes.
He doesn't have.
Even when Sting comes out.
Oh my god.
Especially when
Sting. The worst one is when there was an attack in the ring and he was supposed to leave the ring and he still yelled it out. But dude, can somebody punch him in the mouth, please?
All right.
Anyways, yes.
Let's move on. So here's a situation that we're gonna be coming back to, I guess, a couple times on the show. It's Alex Marvez, Detective Sleuth, tracking down Chris Jericho, and he's trying to see this important story to see if he's gonna join the Don Callis family. And he sneaks into the restaurant where they're eating, and he sees them eating together. He's like, "Wow, we got something here, interesting." Okay. Moving along. That's gonna come back though. Let's go through the show in order today.
Right.
MJF and Adam Cole have a sketch. I call it a sketch, a comedy sketch.
Yes.
Adam Cole is telling MJF that he needs to learn how to face his fears, so he's gonna take him out to eat spicy food because that's one of MJF's fears. I never heard that, but okay. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't listen close enough. So they get what do they do? They get drunk because I guess they mistook the water for pure alcohol, which was kind of stupid because it's like they didn't
taste the difference.
Yeah, exactly. They were like, "What the fuck?" Okay.
Well, they thought it was Chinese water.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, so they kind of get drunk, and they can't handle the spiciness, and they were gonna double clothesline the waiter, and that was that. I don't know. I think amongst wrestling fans that I hear that these sketches are kind of bad, but their matches together are kind of good. Is what basically I'm kind of gathering what a lot of people think. Well, let's just talk about this sketch. Vlad, are you amused by these sketches still, or what?
It's kind of what I said, I think, last week. It's becoming problematic because it's your world champion and he's in these comedic sketches. Not to say there wasn't some entertainment and that There is a little bit because MJF is a really entertaining guy, so he could make anything kind of funny. But I don't know if this is the best way to kind of show the like if they actually do have like if they actually form a team or actual friendship or whatever the case may be. If somebody ends up turning on each other, I don't know if this is the best way of presenting it through these comedy sketches where they're just doing silly things and then like yeah they're gonna attack the referee at the end of it. Come on, I mean the referee, excuse me, the waiter. But anyways, yeah, come on.
Yeah, okay.
Ridiculous.
How about Robert? Give us an opinion about these sketches, these MJF Adam Cole sketches.
I actually found the sketch from last week I found entertaining. This
Yes,
one,
I
not
will
so
say that.
much. Not so
Yes.
much. No, this one was just
Okay.
yeah, cause yeah, I like the part from last week when they were starting to play video games and then MJF like he revealed that he has like no friends. That's why he's never played video games with
Yeah,
anybody
you're
else
right.
because he
That
always
was a
played with.
little better.
I
That
thought
was
that was
definitely
yeah that
better.
was better. But this
All
week,
right.
nah.
All right. Well, we'll get back to more MJF Adam Cole stuff in a second. Let's move on to Alex Marvez, uh detective again on the Jericho Callis situation because it's so important. Everyone needs to know if Jericho is leaving JAS to Don Callis. So he catches them arriving in the parking lot, asks them about it, and they just kind of laugh at him and make fun of him and walk away. Nothing again. Okay. Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia against MJF and Adam Cole. So here we go. The final of the Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament. The winner gets a title shot against FTR. So um, my dad my dad was here for this match. He was over at my spot, and I was watching wrestling, taking notes diligently on my computer like I was in school or something. And Daniel
Mm-hmm.
Garcia comes out, and my dad says, "Where the fuck did they find this motherfucker?"
That's what I've been asking that question for 2.5 years. Nobody can answer me.
And then to make things worse, this always happens when somebody's over randomly. Because Jim, our friend from the bar, Robert, he was at my house once, and the only time I was watching wrestling with him, and it was Kenny Omega and that other Japanese dude that he's friends with, pouring baby oil
Uh-huh.
on each other and stuff. And that was like the only time that ever happened. And then my dad's over, and I'm telling him, "Hey, there's this new company, AEW. They're gonna compete with WWE." And then they have a dance off in the middle of the ring, which
Oh
I
no.
was all about it, cause MJF and Adam Cole come out in matching jackets, and MJF is very happy to be in this friendship with Adam Cole. And when Daniel Garcia does the dance, MJF is in such a mood these days that he's like, "You're right. You want to have a dance off? Okay." And they had a dance off, a literal dance off, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that Daniel Garcia won the dance off, and he was the best one of the four, followed by Sammy Guevara, and then MJF, and Adam Cole was the worst one. So how about you guys? What do you
I don't.
think?
I mean, I'm not going to
I
grade the dance off because it was. Oh, sorry, Robert. Did you want to go first?
Yeah, you go
no,
first,
go
Robert.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Oh, okay. Um, okay, I'll say Daniel Garcia was the best out of the four, but I
Yes.
would still put MJF over Sammy Guevara.
Yeah.
Personally, I didn't think Sammy Guevara was better than MJF. But oh, Adam Cole, what was that?
Yeah, boy. Boy,
Oh
oh boy.
man,
He made the music stop. Like
yeah,
he made the
I
record like
know,
skid. Hey,
man.
Vlad, the whole
He
time I was watching this, I was telling my dad, Vlad is gonna rip this to shreds tonight.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say that obviously I'm not gonna grade who's the better Dan. I don't really care. I mean, was it funny? Yes. Was it incredibly stupid? And I'm not gonna say offensive, but I know there's some purists that will say this is offensive. Just to have this in the middle of supposed to be like a serious, right? The winner gets a tag team title match, and all of a sudden these four guys are having a dance off right as the match is about to start. Pretty stupid, pretty silly, but I can say when MJF started dancing that I did not laugh. So, it kind of works both ways. Yes, was it dumb? Possibly. Was it entertaining? Yeah. Oh, so I guess two things could be true at once. So I don't know.
All right, let me move on from the dancing. No more dancing. Uh, so MJF, they have the match. MJF loves to tease that hot tag, right? It's like his favorite thing. He's like kind of making fun of the '80s, I guess, with these, tag team kind of type of old school hot tag type of matches
Sure.
where they're just. So he really, really milks that. He's done that in every single match in this tournament. Um, MJF did a dive, a tope suicida, which was a
And
historical
he liked
moment.
it. He loved it.
And he did it
Okay.
really well.
I wish I told you to pull up his face when he did it because that did make me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
I'll put it in a clip in post production. But
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
all right. So Adam Cole pressured him into it, and he did it. So Daniel Garcia in the end takes the pinfall off the double clothesline. So they didn't want Sami to get pinned. He's one of the bigger guys here in this company. Remember?
Uh,
Oh yeah. Oh, I
Well,
remember now. I remember now.
oh,
Okay,
good.
so
Good thing you remember.
yeah, to complete the story of Chris Jericho and
Oh
Alex
yes, yes.
Marvez and everything. So Jericho was on commentary for this match, which I forgot to mention. But so he hits the entrance ramp and he wants to console his boys, Sammy and Daniel Garcia for losing, right? And he's at the
Right.
entrance ramp waiting for them as they're leaving, and they just walk by him. So they're kind of butthurt about this whole thing, about him flirting with leaving their group, the Jericho
Right.
Appreciation Society, which I kind of feel them because it's like, dude, they started a group where all we do is appreciate you, and you still don't want to be with us. Like, damn. Okay, so uh, back to the ring. MJF and Adam Cole are still in the ring. Somehow Adam Cole gets his hands on MJF's title belt. He's like looking at it for a second, right? Which infuriated MJF because we all know nothing means more to him than this world title. So no joking around, right? When it comes to that world title. So
Mm.
he got visibly upset. He told Adam Cole, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Adam Cole's like, "No, no, I was just gonna give it to you. We won the match. Don't worry about it." And the crowd is trying to tell him to hug it out because obviously a lot of people are into them being friends. I mean, I kind of think like a small part of me thinks that there is a percentage of the crowd that actually wants them to be friends. Is gonna be hurt when they turn on each other or whoever turns on who. But anyways, so the crowd urges them to hug it out, and they do. But when Adam Cole turns around, MJF gives him this like really serious, mean, ominous look that we don't know what it means yet, but obviously it means something. It's looking like they're not gonna be friends in the end, but. And then FTR's music hits, they enter and they face off with their new number one contenders. Funny thing at the end was that MJF's music hit, and then Dax Harwood looked in the camera and said to Tony Khan, "Why you're playing their music? We're the champions. You should play our
Right.
music." Which
Right.
interesting. I'm not really sure about that though, because they just had a match and they won their match. So I kind of feel like they should have their music played. But whatever. Anyways, let's go with thoughts about this whole segment and the match post dance off. Vlad, you go first.
post post dance off. Great. I don't have to talk about the dancing anymore. No, it was pretty good. It was a good match. It was good solid work. I mean, the crowd eats these up this tag team. I mean, they love that these two guys are together. And MJF is really good at like getting like a great reaction out of just like doing basic stuff. Like old school, like you called it. I don't know if you said he's making fun of the '80s tag team stuff. I don't know if that's what he's doing or what the case may be, but the crowd is into it every time. Like a massive pop every time he makes one of those hot tags, or anytime he does like something like 2 weeks ago when he power slammed Big Bill, right? That got a huge pop just for a slam, you know.
Yep.
Anyways, this
And
was
the tope,
good.
yeah, you're right.
The tope, yeah, the tope because just his reaction, the fact that he doesn't do that type of stuff was pretty good. I don't know the tease as far as who maybe MJF turning or who's going to be turning on who. I don't know yet where it's going. I still am not 100%, but I guess we'll find out definitely by Collision because something's going to have to give when they face FTR for the tag team titles. I mean, I don't
Is
think they're
that
winning
this
it.
Saturday?
Oh, it might be in 2 weeks. It might
I'm
be in
not
2
sure.
weeks.
I'm not sure when it is. Honestly, I didn't
Me
catch
neither.
that, but
I believe it's not this coming show. I think it's in the show after that, I believe. But
Okay.
yeah. But
Yeah, I
either
think
way,
you're right.
like that should be good. And something's gonna have to give there. But it should be a great match, and I'm looking forward to it. That's it.
All
I'll leave
right.
it
How
at that.
about you, Robert? You got any thoughts you want to give about this blind eliminator tag team final and the fact that they're now
Yeah.
the #1 contenders and will face FTR?
Hey, well, I do want to say that I enjoyed the match. I especially loved the moments when MJF and Adam Cole are pointing at each other and yelling out double clothesline, and the fans were
Oh
yelling it
yeah,
with them.
another
That was pretty
simple thing
funny.
that's getting
Um,
over.
Yeah.
right? Yeah, exactly. It's very over. So that tease of MJF turning on Adam Cole, I felt like it was too soon because I mean they
Hmm.
just started their
Yeah.
you know
Interesting point.
their BFF friendship. So and they're really over right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for
Give
that
it some
tease to
time.
happen, I felt like yeah, I felt like they should have waited a bit for something like that to happen.
Good point.
So
Yeah, at least make us
uh,
feel like they're really friends and make us like a little surprised that that it's gonna end, you know? Yeah, it's
mm,
kind of happens a lot in wrestling though that things break up a little too soon these days, you know? It's not like the old days when you're gonna give them like 5 years to be partners before you break them up or something like that. So, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, let me move on. We got a couple more things to get to. There's a backstage thing here that I really don't think I need to even mention, but I will. It was Darby Allin asking for a favor from Orange Cassidy, trying to get a title shot for AR Fox because AR Fox helped him when he was homeless. Like, I'm so tired of Darby Allin mentioning that he used to be homeless. Like, honestly, I still don't care. It was your job. It's your fault you were homeless, bro. You could have got a job. Fuck. It's fucking stupid. Fuck, what is he like too stupid to get a job or something or what? I don't get it. Why was he homeless? I don't know. Okay, fine.
Well,
Honestly, he should feel sorry for me for having a job and paying rent. I think that's fucking harder than him living in his fucking car and not having a job. So I don't care about Darby Allin saying he was homeless. But anyways, Orange Cassidy agrees. He's gonna fight AR
rough,
Fox.
Karen. Pretty rough.
And
Kahan hating on Kahan. This is the story
oh,
from the Kahan hating on the homeless.
who
homeless have it
knew?
easy, bro. They don't have to work, you know? They're not paying
Yeah,
rent.
they live on the streets in the dirt, but they have it easy.
I think they have it easier. That's just
Well,
me.
that's
Anyways,
definitely
let's
just you.
let's not get started on our social talk. Let's go to my
Yes,
other
yes, yes.
podcast for that. This is it's wrestling
Of course.
podcast.
Continue,
You're
Kalen.
invited on my other podcast if you want to come on there and talk about homeless people. But anyways,
I don't think I want to.
it's it's time, guys, for blood and guts.
Blood and guts.
Well, it was on Wednesday, but it's time for us to talk about blood and guts. So
Okay.
Justin Roberts introduces blood and guts with a great big smile. And I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yeah, I
I
saw.
saw that.
Just pretty funny. These guys are gonna murder each other, and Justin Roberts is out there laughing. So I'm not gonna go through this match in detail. We all know how these matches work at this point. War games rules from the old days. Everyone comes in one at a time. No one. There can't be an ending until everyone's in the ring, which is kind of stupid, I think, because everyone knows the match is not gonna end until all 10 guys get in. So that's kind of like just filler, beating each other up, you know. Um, so once all the entrants are in, you know, thumbtacks have been flying around already. There's thumbtacks everywhere. That's the kind of messed up thing about adding thumbtacks into a match like this is because, okay, you have it for one spot, but now there's thumbtacks literally everywhere for fucking everything for the rest of the match, which really sucks for those guys. Um, I'm going to skip to the part where Moxley breaks out his bed of nails, which tripped the whole crowd out and everything. Um, Omega was the first to bite it, but he got thrown into it. Um, Don Callis is on commentary saying that was beautiful. He loved it, and so he got body slammed onto it too. Which I don't know what the hell that bed of nails was made out of. But Ibushi was the last to enter, and let's see, Moxley got slammed into his bed of nails. There was all kinds of madness. glass, thumbtacks everywhere. Pac had a good move. He did a double foot stomp hanging from the roof of the cage onto a table, onto one of the Jackson brothers. I forgot which one. Um, let's see. But the ending of the match comes because Pac and Claudio Castagnoli can't get along, and then Pac walks out on the team, which in turn turns into a massacre. This match after Don Callis takes Konosuke Takeshita with him, seeing that this is a lost cause. He's like, let's get out of here. It's 5-on-3 now. And then in the end, Moxley surrenders to save Wheeler Yuta's life because he was about to get murdered. So, all right. Um, I guess I'll start with Vlad. Let's get Vlad's take on Blood and Guts. What did you think of this match? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Was it entertaining to you?
Boy, oh boy. Well, I think the point that you brought up to start, where this is the match where if they did bring out all the stuff that they usually do anyways, the weapons, I'm kind of surprised a screwdriver was not used because usually they use the screwdriver. I don't think a screwdriver was used. Well, they used a fork in this match.
fork,
Moxley
yeah.
came in, brought out a fork. He then brought out the glass. The Jacksons, I think one of the Jacksons, I forget which one as well because I can't never tell. I don't even remember which one's which half the time. Brought out the thumbtacks, but he threw them from the top of the cage. That's another point I was going to make. Why is everyone leaving this cage? Like that. The whole point of these matches were that you can't leave. You're locked in. You're supposed to be locked in. It's supposed to finish out there. Everybody's just leaving and walking around, doing God knows what. And then finally, Pac has had enough. He breaks through. He opens it and he leaves. I don't know. Overall, it did have some good moments and it was kind of entertaining, but yeah, it was also kind of dumb. And Moxley, of course, ruins it by taking it to the extreme, if you will, every single time. But yeah, other than that, it was okay. It wasn't the worst thing I've seen them do.
All right, Robert. Before I give my thoughts about it, what about you? Were you entertained by this?
Sorta. Okay. I've seen a lot of War Games matches, and NXT had some really good ones. I think they started that in WCW, right? I never
Yeah.
really watched
Of
those.
course, bro. Oh my God, I
Yeah,
can't believe you don't
Yeah,
even know that.
I-
That sucks.
but I never really watched any of those. But I know that's where it started. But I've
yeah.
seen a lot of NXT War Games matches, and then I think there was a War Games pay-per-view in WWE, or sorry, premium live event. My bad.
Yeah, the last Survivor
So
Series was a War
so
Games.
yeah, yeah. There you go. That's what it was. So I'm judging this blood and guts match, based on the standards of what I've seen before, and this didn't live up to what I've seen before, the previous War Games matches. It wasn't that great. And also, man, they made Pac look like he's very sensitive, man. Like really, like one of his was it Claudio that accidentally hit him or whatever, and that's all it took for him to leave and just abandon the group. I mean, come on.
He doesn't
When
play
stuff like
well with
that
others,
happens,
man.
like
He's a
I
bastard,
guess
bro.
not. I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, well, there you go. He lives up to his own name. So
He is
yeah,
a
like
bastard.
yeah, they made him look really, really sensitive. Like it didn't take much for him to just bail on them. Like, come on. Uh, it was okay, but I didn't really enjoy it that much overall.
That's fair.
Yeah, honestly, I have to say that I'm kind of getting burnt out on these matches too because they're not really topping themselves by adding more and more weird weapons and stuff, you know? It's kind of getting worse and worse. And like I said, the beginning of the match, the first part where people are trickling in, no interest to me whatsoever. I was kind of not paying attention. It's like, well, I know there's not going to be an ending in this part, so I'll wait till everyone gets in before I start paying attention. The ending where they didn't want to put anyone over, they didn't want to actually put the Elite over. So there's like, oh, cause Pac left, that's why Blackpool Combat Club lost. So they don't really look bad, I guess. But I think I would have liked to have seen a real ending. If it's gonna be War Games, it's the end of the feud, right? Supposedly, hope so, hope so.
God,
But
one could hope.
I would have liked to have seen somebody win for real and then just end this personally. So that's that. Okay, we did it. Um, it was a long War Games match. So there wasn't things like, excuse me, blood and guts match. But so there
Yeah.
wasn't like as many things on the show as a usual Dynamite. I usually have like a longer list when I have my notes and my reviews, but not as much things today. Um, but if we can give a final grade, please. It's our final stop of the night. AEW Dynamite from July 19th. Robert.
Mm, I'll give it a C. There were some good segments. The very first one was cool. But yeah, if that blood and guts match was better, I probably would have given it a higher grade. But so I'll stick with
All
C.
right. So Robert gives Raw beating Dynamite this week. How
Yeah,
about you, Vlad?
Raw does beat Dynamite this week.
Okay.
Oh, I'm completely. I thought this was one of the better dynamites. This was, I thought this was pretty good actually. I mean, yes, the main event wasn't like the best War Games match ever, but it was okay. But everything else, maybe because they tightened it up in the first hour, it was kind of entertaining. It was focused on MJF and Cole mostly. It had that Jack Perry and Hook thing that I liked, and the blood and guts was okay. Like it wasn't the best, but it was all right. I didn't have. I mean, outside of the fact that Moxley's an idiot, I'm gonna give the show a B minus. I thought it was one of the better Dynamites. So that's high praise. B minus is high praise for me for Dynamite. That's pretty good for me. So yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. I don't think I'm gonna give it that high a grade. I mean, the only thing I really dug was Jack Perry at the first segment. I think that was good. Also ruined by commentary a bit. Could have been more serious if they had the Collision commentary on this show.
Sure.
And War Games or Blood and Guts didn't really interest me that much. I also just didn't like
I
this
agree.
feud overall.
Sure.
So for that reason, I'll give it a C plus. I'll give it.
Hold on, time out, time out. Is this really happening? Both me and Kahan are giving it lower grades than Vlad.
I'm telling you,
Hold on,
I enjoyed the
hold on.
show because
I need to
and
go outside and see if there's a blue moon out there, man. Because
I just want to explain my
all
reasonings a little bit more
right,
thoroughly, real quick.
okay.
Just real quick. I thought because they focused on people that I actually care about, I think made it like a little bit more of a more tighter show in that sense. Now,
The
obviously, I
first
did not
hour,
care so much.
yeah.
Okay.
Right, I did not
Okay.
care so much about the ending of it, though. But it is a cage match, and it's I am gonna watch it, and it wasn't the worst. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen them do. Obviously, I don't like a lot of the people involved, as you guys know. Kehan knows this to be a fact, because I'm always complaining about them through text message to him. But it wasn't that bad. Like, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. The only part I really did not like, outside of the Moxley stuff, bringing all those stuff, is Pac just leaving and everybody just freely leaving the cage. But other than that, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. So, anyways, yeah, maybe that's the reason that I give it a higher grade. It's just that it focused on people that I actually care about.
Okay. All right. All right. I don't know. I thought it was too much blood and guts for me. Too much Elite and Blackpool Combat Club. Big hour
Sure.
long chunk that I was just kind of not into. So all right then. Thank you guys so much for coming on. We'll see if we could get Brian on next week so we could have some serious discussion about the state of wrestling, and we'll have that to look forward to next time we meet up and talk more wrestling. We'll also watch the upcoming shows. SummerSlam is coming up kind of soon, I guess. I don't know. Anyone have an idea what date that's coming on? No.
I think it's in
All right.
SummerSlam's like in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from Sunday.
Okay. All right. Well, we had an ROH today, Death Before Dishonor, and SmackDown, and we didn't watch that today. Well, Vlad watched some of it, but we'll cover that on the next Malapert Smark Wrestling podcast for all you crazy Malapert Smarks out there. We got you, man. I know we're a day late today, but we might be changing it up. We might not be. We'll see. So I kind of like the Friday thing, but we'll see. I know sometimes we want to go out partying if you guys have to party on a Friday or you guys got a date, go ahead. It's okay. All
Yeah.
right, guys, have a good night. I'll talk to you
All
guys
right.